ERL. We're ready to start Season 5 with a pre-season race for F3. I need to bring up my list of drivers we have in F3. We don't have everybody in this lobby for this, but of course it is a pre-season race. The first of two. This one being at Hockenheim. Of course returning back on the calendar after it was last on the calendar in 2015. 2016 even, not 2015. And then one at the returning Paul Ricard circuit, which will be next week. I believe we have 15 drivers in this lobby today, so I will run through at least the drivers we are expecting to get for F3. In the Mercedes we have Oscar and Drewy, both taking up the Mercedes seats, and it's raining for qualifying. Looks like it's quite heavy as well. This is really gonna put the pressure on all of these drivers as it's raining. Wet conditions are always very difficult on any F1 game. But it'll be interesting to see how it works in leagues this season. This is the first time I've done any kind of wet running, or seen any kind of wet running on multiplayer on this game so far. First guy out on track is the Mercedes of Drewy, who I mentioned earlier. So he's going to be the first person out on track on the full wet tyres. I'm going to avoid using cockpit camera because this game has the same bug that F1 2017 had, where everybody's going at full revs. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Drew, the first guy out on track. We've got Oscar, his teammate in the Mercedes. Both of those two drivers are drivers for the season. We have Debente, who I believe is a reserve. Copter Spinner in the Williams, losing it a little bit into turn 2. Calmel in McLaren, behind his teammate, Benji M214. I'm probably just going to call this guy Yay for now, because I don't want to be going Yay tie tie. In the Sauber, we've got Verstappen RB33, quite ironically, in a Force India. Something oddly not so satisfying about that, seeing somebody who's Max Verstappen, got their driver number and is a Red Bull fan driving in a Force India. Let's watch Drewy on his lap. He's got full rev still enabled, so this game is fantastic for that reason. A little bit sideways on the exit of turn 2 and 3, through into 4, sector 1 time of an 18.9, so that's the benchmark for everybody else to set straight away through sector 1. 19.4 set by Benji, didn't see Calmel's time. Drewy again, big back end kick coming out of the hairpin. Always difficult in traction zones, wet conditions are. It seems as though the full red switch is gone from spectator mode this camera. Still exists on this one though. So let's not use the cockpit cam, even though it's better for qualifying, I find. We'll actually catch a sector 2 time. And we'll see if 58.9 from Benji, but we have a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. Who's lost it? Don't think anybody's lost it. I think it was just a yellow flag for the Renault, I believe, that was letting a car past coming into the hairpin. Drewy comes across the line to a 125.858. That is the first lap we are going to see. Can Benji beat it? No, Benji goes half a second slower with the 26.3. 27.9 put in by Calmo, not the best laps from him, even though he wants to do better. Of course, it is wet conditions, mistakes will happen. First lap is going to be Copter Spinner, I think it might be. He's coming through the second to last corner now. Williams, yeah, the Mercedes is off in the background of Oscar. He's lost it and he's ruined his lap. Copter Spinner comes across the line to do a 126.9. Puts him in third. Oscar comes across with a 32.4 after losing it in the final chicane. Final two corners. Regardless is on a fast lap. Verstappen RB33 looks like he's on a quick lap. into the stadium section, second to last corner now. Keeping the back end in check quite nicely as well through that. Not an easy section of track, especially considering the rest of the track that is to come. There we go, fastest time in the session, 35.4. Puts him fastest by 0.4 of a second. Not sure whether the conditions are improving though. I haven't got any intel on the weather, of course. Mr. Stim posts a 146, but he did back off on that. Must have made a big mistake somewhere that I didn't quite see. That would have probably been what the yellow flag was for. As we have yellow flag to sector 2. Somebody, quite sure who. Mr. Stim comes through sector 1, just a tenth of a second so far off Verstappen RB99. RB33. I can't even read. Falcon coming through the final sector now, a little bit of a slide into the second to last corner, also sliding on the entry of the final. But might have compromised his exit and his time. It's a 26.2, which puts him in 4th position at the moment. As, there we go, Exogenesis goes fastest with a 25.0. Yeah, another improvement by 0.4. So there's the benchmark time, just slapped right down on the board by the Force India driver Exogenesis. So it's Force India 1-2 leading the way at the moment. Exogenesis and Verstappen topping the timesheets. Mr. Stim coming through the final sector. Familiar face, familiar name to this league. And Tim Veg Gaming puts in a 124.7. Mr. Stim abandons his lap and dives into the pits, but a 24.7 from Tim Veg Gaming. Absolutely fantastic lap time from him. Especially after he abandoned his first run, I believe. He said he was 21 seconds off on his previous best. Not sure if that was his first lap or his second. So that's a great lap time from him. Benji puts in a 25.0 to put himself 2 thousandths behind Exogenesis to put him in 3rd. So it's only Alton Senegal, Ultimate Master Puro, who is just coming through the final corner now. I think he's about to start a lap though. No, he puts in a 29.5. And Debense that are yet to set lap. Mr. Stim, of course, invalidating his first run and trying again and again, having to go into the pit. And Oscar spinning through the final corners on his last run. He's going to come across to complete a lap. What's the time going to be? 26.0, so he moves up to 7th. Not sure whether Ultimate Master Puro went flat out on that last lap. I'm not too sure. I'll have to wait and see what the sector time was. I think it said he was 2 seconds off in sector 1. Driving the Haas. Yeah, he's already 2 seconds up, so he must have made a big mistake coming out of turn 1 in that first sector. Stay on board with him, because this looks like it's going to be a quick lap, as most of the drivers are going into the pits. Very sloppy exit there on the exit of the Light Air Panda though. And it looks like he's abandoned the lap. He has indeed abandoned the lap to let the Mercedes of Drui go past. A lot of time to make up to try and get into that top 4. 8 tenths of a second separates him and Benji, who's currently in 4th. Tim Veg Gaming, great lap from him. Got the benchmark time. Exogenesis is currently on an improvement lap. 1/10 up on his previous best. Golden Falcon, as I say, then Tim Veg Gaming put in a great lap. Golden Falcon has slots in a 24.5. Again, another one of the few names I recognise in this tier this season. Racing F3 last season as well. Exogenesis can be the final corner very easy on the throttle for the final corner. Across the line with a 25.2. I think he ran out of fuel right at the end there as well. 25.2, that's an improvement from him. No, it isn't. 25.0 is his previous best. He must have had a really bad final sector. Let's have a look at his sector times. Yeah, completely shafted the final sector. Lost 3 tenths pretty much through that final sector. Was purple in sector 1 and 2. And then that final sector let him down. I think it was the easiness on the throttle through the final corners. let him down a bit. Golden Falcon, is he on for an improvement or is he on an in-lap? I don't have the full telemetry anymore like we had on 2017. Have a look and see whether he dives into the pits or whether he stays out. He's going to dive into the pits, so that's his first run over. Rain still looks like it's pelting it down. It looks like it's going to be heavy rain for the entire session. And yeah, Exogenesis is also on an in-lap. Mr. Stim is out on track at last, going to want to try and improve on his time. Alton Senegal's put in a lap of a 1:30.6. So it's just Mr. Stim and Debense that have put in any kind of competitive lap time. That lap time isn't overly competitive from Senegal as well. So he's currently 3 seconds off the next car and 5 seconds off the pole time at the moment. But he's going to want to go out again and improve on that. Gaming back out on track again as well in the Renault. Mr. Stim's teammate currently have Renault's second first and second last standings at the moment. Currently just on a warm-up lap by the looks of it. Anybody on the flying lap. Mr. Stim's coming across the final corner. Looks like he's about to finish a lap. What's the time going to be? On 27.4, but it was invalidated. He still stays 13th on his 46.8. Anybody actually go flat on one? Another yellow flag in sector 2. Yeah, there's Oscar almost losing it into the entry to the stadium section. That's what the yellow flag was for. We got a McLaren and a Sauber close to each other on track here as well. McLaren has let him through nicely. Timbedge Gaming is about to start his flying lap on this run. Landing his last one. Oh, very squirrely on the exit of the final corner. Caught way too much curb and was on the power a little bit too early. Again, wide through turn 1 as well, and he's invalidated his lap as a result. Track limits are called relentless. There's some called running down. Sometimes you've got to be, you can't even run wide through corners, even if it loses you time. Well, that first corner is always been a bad one. It's awful on that 2016 for track limits. It's one that always caught drivers out. I think it's going to be the same again this season. Backwards sliding out of the hairpin. Oh, he's lost it! He's in the wall! He's lost it coming out through that fast right-hander. After the hairpin. Ballast too high. Maybe he just tried to go too fast when the grip wasn't there because he's on intermediate tyres. That might have also contributed to the situation being on intermediate tyres. GM214 that is out on intermediates as well, about to start a flying lap. Mr. Stim has gone 4th fastest with 1:25.0, just half a second off the pole. Good lap from him, so we've got Renault's in 2nd and 4th. And Force India's 3rd and 5th with a Ferrari leading the way of Golden Falcon, who's currently in pits. See what kind of lap time Benji can put in with the intermediates on. Oscar as well on the intermediate, and again sliding his way through turn 2. Only 600 of a second off the fastest sector 1 time through sector 1 though. Keep an eye on the others. Benji on the track, Benji's going through the middle sector, trying to finish the middle sector. Next middle sector time is not visible to me. Has he invalidated his lap? No, he hasn't, but he is slower than his current best, so it doesn't look like the intermediates at the moment the faster tyre to be on. But this stage, but some of the drivers coming out now on intermediates might be in the prime position for when the final laps. The Bense is still out on track on wets. He needs to set the lap. He's the only person that hasn't actually put a lap time in yet. Tim Veg Gaming's abandoned his lap. Going out. He's abandoned it again. Golden Falcon's out on an out lap on the intermediates. And Verstappen. Mr. Stim's just pitted. He's probably going to fit on a fresh set of intermediate tyres before coming out on track again. Genesis just starting a lap on the intermediate tyres. Sorry, I'll check on both. 18.8 sector 1. Not bad time through sector 1. Where does that put him in comparison to Golden Falcon? 0.3 of a second off the pace of Golden Falcon. It's also 0.2 of a second off his personal best. So yeah, the intermediate still don't look like the faster of the wet compounds to be on. They're 2 seconds slower. Drury coming out of the pits on. Is he coming out on the intermediates or is he on the full wets? He's on the full wets. A lot of drivers opting for the intermediates, but I don't think it's the quicker tyre, unfortunately. Golden Falcon is going to be the benchmark to look at until that he improves on the intermediates. I don't want to be in that camera if it's going to be giving me full revs. Lost the back end through turn 2 and 3. Disaster for Golden Falcon. He's maybe got one more shot at a lap if he has a cool down lap again on this one. Verstappen RB33. Let's see how his first sector was on the intermediates. He was 1/10 of a second faster in sector 1. Could we be about to see the first improvement lap on intermediate tyres? At the moment, everybody's done their laps on wets. Could we see the first intermediate lap time put in? No, he's locked up. Big lock-up coming into that left-hander, the 90-degree left. That's completely ruined his lap. He was 1/10 of a second up in sector 1, but now that's all gone into the bin. Mr. Stim is off. Not sure whereabouts on track that is, but Mr. Stim is off the circuit. I've seen somebody putting a lap on intermediate. Yay, with a 1:25.9, which put him 8th. Just picked him in front of Calmel and just behind Drury. Golden Falcon's got another shot, as does Tim Veg, as does Verstappen. Exogenesis is currently faster than his personal best through sector 2, not by much. Needs a good final sector. If the intermediates are faster, this is where all the time will be made up in this final sector. Traction zone with a lot of corners in this final sector. I think about 50% of the track's corners in this final sector. Foot flat on the throttle as he comes down towards the line. A 25.0, which puts him 4th. It is an improvement with Exogenesis. So that is the first, well, it's the second intermediate lap we've seen on the board. Session is over, so everybody's now on to their final laps of the session. Golden Falcon says he's down on his personal best. Stafford is 2/10 off. A little bit of a lock-up though through the 180-degree left. On the 2 corners with Stafford. Around the final corner. Decent final corner by the looks of it. He's going to cross the line. Is it going to be purple? It is. A 24.1. So the intermediates are now the faster tyre right at the end of the session. Golden Falcon looks like he's made a mistake, so his lap is ruined, and so is his pole position hopes. Tim Veg Gaming 888 into the final sector. He's been let through by the Mercedes in front. 2 corners to go for him as well. Slowish exit, and who's going to be across the line with the 133. So his lap not going to be improved on either. Exogenesis needs to find 9/10 of a second if he has any hope of beating Verstappen, but he's diving into the pits, so I think that is the end of the session. Verstappen RB33 putting in a 124.1 in the final sector. As I said, the final sector proving different. Look at that, 3.5 tenths faster in the final sector just on those intermediate tyres. As you compared to his best wet lap, he's half a second up. So those intermediates really came into their own right at the end of the session. It was just a case of who could perfect a lap, really. Golden Falcon ruined his lap at the end. Tim Veg invalidated 3 laps of his 5 that he did in the session. Exogenesis is in 4th, invalidating his final lap. Mr. Stim in 5th on wet tyres. Not a bad lap from him. And I'll run through the rest of the order once we get to the loading screen. There we go, Verstappen pole position, Golden Falcon 2nd, Tim Veg in 3rd, Exogenesis in 4th, Mr. Stim just 1/100th of a second behind him in 5th, Benji again just 1/4 of a tenth behind in 6th, Calmel in 7th, the first driver with over a second off the pole time, Ultimate in 8th, Drewy in 9th, Ye in 10th, the last rounding up the top 10 with a 1:25.9, Copter Spinner in 11th, and then we have another 4 or 5 drivers behind that, which I didn't have time to run through. Get your clouds out, jeez. No guarantee of a dry race here by the looks of the cloud cover. Of course, dynamic weather is the weather forecast we have for the season. So nobody really knows what the weather's going to be coming into every single race, apart from the likes of Bahrain and Abu Dhabi, where you're almost guaranteed dry conditions. Very overcast here for the race. Can Verstappen convert his pole into a win to leave him as the pace benchmark for this tier? Here we go, formation lap is about to get underway. There they go, formation lap. Formation lap, a feature that was added back in F1 2016. The feature has been utilised by lead races ever since, as we're seeing disqualifications going on formation lap here. Ultimate been put back on the grid, as has Drewy, as has Ye, as has Copter Spinner. This is only a formation lap, you don't need to be racing around on a formation lap. I did see some contact between those two, Copter Spinner and Ultimate. I'm not sure what the dealio is there, as you see the formation lap. Verstappen setting the pace as he should at the start of on the formation lap. Everybody else following suit behind. Golden Falcon in 2nd, Tim Veg in 3rd, in the Renault, Exogenesis, the pole sitter's leader, pole sitter's teammate in 4th, Mr. Stim in 5th, Benji in 6th, Calmel 7th, so we got McLaren's in 6th and 7th, Ultimate in 8th, Drewy 9th, Ye in 10th, Copter Spinner 11th, Oscar 12th, Alson in 13th, and Bense, a reserve in this tier, in 14th and last. A little bit of lag going on for him as well, so he needs to be careful. Now Verstappen's taking his grid slot, and the other drivers follow suit behind to get ready to start this pre-season race for ERL F3 here in Germany. He's waiting for that last car to slot into his grid slot at the back. The hat of the Bense, I believe, is ready to the back. Ferrari, sorry, of the Bense. As we have 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go for ERL F3. Nobody's getting away off the mark, so I don't know whether there's a Bit of delay going on. There we go. There they go away. The lights went out like 10 seconds before any of them set off. And the Renault of Tim Veg Gaming straight through the middle and straight into the lead into turn 1. Side by side with Golden Falcon. Golden Falcon pushes them wide a little bit, but they're staying side by side coming into turn 2. Tim Veg breaking that a little bit later, has the outside line. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the two as well. Great stuff from the lead already. Tim Veg Gaming going from 3rd position to the lead into the first 2-3 corners. Verstappen drops down to 4th. Exogenesis is down in 5th as well. Golden Falcon seems to be the only person. Verstappen's made a very late lunge into the hairpin. Made some contact, I think, with Tim Veg there, which pushed him wide and he spun. Verstappen's been spun. I think that was contact between himself and Tim Veg. It was a very aggressive move, though, from Verstappen in the inside of the hairpin. And then Benji's made contact with Tim Veg, and Benji's managed to keep it together and keep it on the track, but Tim Veg into 2nd. Golden Falcon now takes the lead as a result of Verstappen spinning off. Copter Spinner's down in last as well. He's had a poor start. It's Golden Falcon from Tim Veg Gaming, from Benji, from Exogenesis, from Mr. Stim at the moment. I was going to say Alison Senegal's got off to a fantastic start, but I've just seen him plummet down the field. He's made a big mistake coming into the stadium section. He's off the track and he's now going to be down in last place. Apart from Calmel, maybe he made contact with Calmel. Didn't see what went on. I just saw a driver plummeting down positions on the field. Another yellow flag in sector 1. Is that for Yatai? Yatai looks like he's had a bit of an issue. He's now down in 12th. Positions gaining and being gained and being lost everywhere here. Mistakes being made as well. Alison Senegal started fantastically. He was at the back, then was up in about 7th, I think I saw him, before spinning off. Verstappen, the pole sitter, down in 10th after contact on lap 1. Tim Veg Gaming had the lead after turn 1 and 2. Yatai's already picked up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Promising start for him. I mean, he is down in 12th. He just needs to, if he's going to get penalties already, just calm down on the aggression. Sometimes you don't need to go as fast as you dare through every corner, especially not in the race. But Golden Falcon looks like he's slowly extending his lead over Tim Veg as well. Just under a second between the two. So you have another yellow flag in sector 3, and that is Oscar who's off. Same corner that we saw Calmel and Alson off on that 1. Mistakes happening all over the field as Golden Falcon's already broken that DRS buffer to Tim Veg Gaming. That's going to really help him out because the DRS is activated in this lap. Benji as well, further 1.2 seconds off the pace of Tim Veg. As we've got Mr. Stim and Exogenesis going side by side, swapping places in the hairpin. Mr. Stim looked like he broke a little bit too late there and went too deep into the corner, which allowed Exogenesis to get a switch back on him again. This is a nice little battle we've got going on for P4 here between Exogenesis, Mr. Stim and Ultimate. 3 cars all separated by 0.8 of a second. Catching up to the back of Benji as well. Yeah, Exogenesis within 0.7 of Benji. Benji already losing some time. Exogenesis interestingly not using ERS, which is another new factor I forgot to mention into lead racing this season. The ERS deployment feature. We do have it set that you can put it on automatic if you wish, but again, it's up to driver's preference. Exogenesis now upping his ERS from 0 to 2. He's now up to 2. Benji also on 2 in front, but Exogenesis has the DRS wide open, so he's going to catch quickly coming in as it has started to rain as well. The rain is starting to come down. Exogenesis going for the move. Gets the corner and gets the position. Does he? No, they're still side by side. I think he had to give the position back due to track extending on the entry. The hairpin there, I think. He did lift off as we've got Mr. Stim looking for it up the inside. Mr. Stim with a very brave move. They're still side by side coming through the right-hander at the end of the second sector. Mr. Stim has to yield though, as Exogenesis pushes him a little bit wide. 3-car battle here going on for P4. Benji pulled away a bit as a result of this though. Mr. Stim now right back on the back of Exogenesis again. Almost made contact with the rear of him. Of course, with this being an evaluation race, no damage is on because we don't want people's evaluation races being tarnished by damage. It doesn't mean that they can be aggressive. It just means that we can see closer racing without damage being a factor. Golden Falcon's now extended his gap up front to 2 seconds. Tim Ledge is also 2.8 seconds ahead of Benji. Exogenesis the further 1.5 seconds behind him, but Mr. Stim is going to pull up to the inside of the hairpin here. The main overtaking point on this track is coming into this hairpin here. Mr. Stim locks up a little bit on the entry. A little bit of wheel contact, but again gives him space on the outside. Mr. Stim gets good traction though and takes position 4. Exogenesis looks like he's going to be put under pressure from Ultimate as well as trying to make a move himself. Mr. Stim gives him room. Didn't need to, but gives him room. But Mr. Stim holds on to 4th position, and Ultimate is going to try and make a move on position 5 here. No, he doesn't. Doesn't successfully execute it. It'll be interesting to see when these drivers are going to fit on the intermediate tyres as well. A lot of these drivers wanted for soft/mediums. The rain is currently pelting down, as I saw by the conditions. At the start of the race, I didn't think it'd be long before we saw some rain. Mr. Stim picked up a time penalty for cutting turn 1. As I was saying, turn 1 is a nightmare on the track limits. Ultimate's going to pull alongside Exogenesis here, coming into the hairpin on lap 6. Again, another overtaking move being made. Very late on the brakes, had to really slow it down to avoid making contact with Mr. Stim. Such a late braking move from Ultimate. Almost plowed straight into the side of Mr. Stim. That would have been disastrous. Stafford is slowly climbing his way up the order. He's made a move on to Bensay for 8th. We have a yellow flag in sector 1. That is for Alson Senegal, who is off the track again. Not sure whether he made contact with Oscar. Oscar's only a couple of corners in front of him on track. Ultimate now having to go at Mr. Stim after Mr. Stim must have made a mistake. Exogenesis is back in front of him. Mr. Stim down in 5th. And the Haas in the background. Was that a Haas in the background? Or was that? No, it's Drewy getting involved in this battle. I didn't realise that Drewy had actually managed to catch up and get involved in this battle, so it must have been a catastrophic error for Mr. Stim to lose him a lot of time. He's got Drewy, Ultimate, and Drewy, Mr. Stim. Yeah, Drewy's got involved. So yeah, Mr. Stim, Drewy, Ultimate, all battling out for position 5. Mr. Stim's a 2.5 behind Exogenesis as well, so he's losing time pretty quickly. As Ultimate's made a move on Drewy for position 6. Those two have swapped positions about 3 times on this lap now. The Haas on Ultimate. As Mr. Stim's made another error. Back end really snapping out on him, because as a result, Ultimate's had to take avoiding action, and Drewy's capitalised and taken P6. He's going to be looking right on the back of Mr. Stim, seeing how much he's struggling in these conditions. And we'll want to try and take position 5 away from him as well. Mr. Stim really seems to be having some issues with the slippy conditions on the track at the moment. Almost contact out of the final corner. Drewy had to be very cautious there not to hit straight to the back of Mr. Stim 96. Again, having to brake early to avoid plowing into the back of him again. Another thing I've noticed is Tim Ledge gaining is catching up to the back of Golden Falcon. There's a slight bit of contact, but Drew's made his way through. Mr. Stim wasn't large off track, maybe a little bit unsettling in the car after the slight contact with Drewy, but he has got DRS as a result of the overtaking of Drewy. There's 3 wide coming into the hairpin between the 3 of them. Ultimate, Drewy and Mr. Stim. They're going to keep it, stick it 3 wide. Ultimate goes off the track on the exit. 3 into 1 doesn't go, but they all managed to keep keep away from contact with each other. And again, side by side between Ultimate and Drewy. Drewy's made a late move on Mr. Stim. This is fantastic stuff between these three drivers. Close battling all the way on this lap. 3 wide into the hairpin, and then Drewy got past Ultimate and then almost tried to get past Mr. Stim. Almost successfully got past Mr. Stim. These three battling has also led to Verstappen and De Bense getting involved in this battle. De Bense not far behind it. Verstappen now joins into this battle, making a 4-car train from position 5. So we have a yellow flag in sector 3, which I believe is the back marker of Alton letting cars through. It is indeed. Golden Falcon leads the way, 1.2 seconds ahead of Tim Veg Gaming, who's 5 seconds ahead of Benji M214. Exogenesis is in 4th and has pulled away from the battle that he was involved in early on. There's Mr. Stim now down in 5th, and then there's the big 4-car battle going on. 5-car battle even now going on behind. Mr. Stim, Drewy, Ultimate, Verstappen, the pole sitter, and De Bense. De Bense is dropping back a bit though. Big lock-up from Verstappen, really had to be cautious into that corner. The whole slid his way around the corner as well. The only problem with with trains like this, especially when you're running no ABS, if you're at the back of a train, you've got to brake early. Oh, there's contact! Drewy swung it round the outside of Mr. Stim, and Mr. Stim's tapped Drewy and he's half spun. They've both lost 2 positions. Ultimate climbs up into 5th, Verstappen up into 6th. Mr. Stim takes the position back off Drewy, but there was contact, big contact as well between the two of them. Again, I wasn't quite, had both my eyes on the screen at the time of the crash. I just saw spinning cars everywhere as De Bense is coming under pressure from Copter Spinner, and De Bense spun under the pressure and under slippery track conditions. He's going to be careful rejoining as Ye doesn't crash into him. Bense struggling a lot of those conditions and dives into the pits. Is he going to be the first one to make a brave move for intermediates? Looks like he might be. Let's see what tyres get fitted on that Ferrari. Into the pits he goes. 4 set of intermediate tyres, yes. The Bense is the first to risk the intermediate tyres. And Tim Veg has made a mistake somewhere. He's lost 4 seconds to Golden Falcon and he's under pressure big time from the McLaren of Benji. Involved in the starting kerfuffle going on. Tim Veg, of course, took the lead into turn 1 but then lost it by the hairpin. Still got the battle going on for 5th as well. Verstappen has taken 5th place from Ultimate, pole sitter, proving how quick he can be in this tier, overtaking Ultimate. Drewy in 7th, not far behind the pair. Mr. Stim still struggling with these conditions they're in, is losing time on those three drivers in front. Could allow to be putting the pressure on Copter Spinner. Benji's going to be hit with DRS. DRS is still enabled at this stage of the race, even though it's been raining since lap 4. The Bense is out of the session, too early for the intermediate. Benji, with the DRS, slipstreams his way straight past Tim Veg Gaming, but they're going to be side by side coming into the hairpin. Giving each other enough room, yeah, giving each other plenty of space. Golden Falcon also looks like he's made a mistake as he's lost a couple of seconds. But Benji takes 2nd position. Good solid move from Benji at 214. With the help of DRS, gets a little bit sideways on the exit of the 90-degree left. Quite cleared up on corner names on this track yet. I think it's turn 8. Tim Veg just sitting behind him by the looks of it, not wanting to take any risks. Yellow flag in sector 2, which is for Mr. Stim, who's lost it. Been struggling for a few laps in these conditions. Mr. Stim down in 10th, but he's got a big gap to Kalmar behind, but again loses it, trying to be a bit too aggressive on the throttle. These slippery conditions are really affecting him badly as Benji has dived into the pits as well. Was 2nd at the time of diving into the pits, but he's fitting on a set of intermediates. As is Verstappen, the pole sitter. He's dived into the pits for intermediates as well. Looks like it is the crossover point now. Three drivers into the pits on this lap for intermediates. Mercedes stays out on track. Does Mr. Stim pit? No, Mr. Stim stays out as well, despite him struggling in these conditions. And Alison Senegal also pitting. Golden Falcon still in the lead of the race. Tim Reg, 3.5 seconds behind. Exogenesis in third, Rui in fourth. Side by side with Ultimate. We go into the middle sector, side by side with a long sweeping right-hander. Drewy holds on to the position for now, but Ultimate looks like he's tapped his rear end, and oh, Drewy. Ultimate thankfully didn't overtake him. I think he knew that that was his fault, but Benji's coming in and getting involved in this as well. Ultimate tapped the back end of Drewy coming into that into turn 8. Benji's now capitalised as well, so Ultimate in his pace to not overtake Drewy for what would have been an illegal overtake. Has lost another position here as we've got more front runners diving into the pits. Golden Falcon, Tim Benji, Drewy. Benji's already pitted on his intermediates, stays out on track. Ultimate is also up, but Benji now, with the lap he chose to pit, is in a fantastic position here with the intermediates of the fastest tyre. Really is in a position to get in a good result. The Golden Falcon rejoins from the pits in second, 3.5 seconds ahead of Benji. Exogenesis still on the dry tyres, currently out in front. Driving yet to pit now, I believe. Benji's got 2 seconds on Tim Veg now, getting a lap earlier. Stacking a long way behind Tim Veg as well. So Benji can really benefit from this. Interesting to see where Exogenesis comes out and fits as well. So I look at the next lead, he'll probably rejoin around about just in front of that battle for 6th, I reckon. Probably just behind his teammate Verstappen. Don't know what the pits are, about 20-25 seconds pits on Delta, so you can see he'll be very close to his teammate, I think, on pit exit. But he's lost about 3 seconds on this lap to Golden Falcon, and in he goes on that 13. Finally get off his medium tyres and to fit on a set of intermediate tyres. Golden Falcon re-inherits the lead. Benji moves up to second, Tim Veg will take third. Verstappen looks like he could comfortably get fourth here as well. And out the final corner. Exogenesis leaving the pits. Could be close actually. Verstappen does get his teammate. And it is quite close, about second in it between the two of them, between the two Force India drivers. Exogenesis rejoined in 5th, and some distance in front of that battle for 6th as well, between Drewy, Ultimate and Copter Spinner. Copter Spinner and Ultimate is here in a real close battle we've got going on track at the moment. That's fine. Intermediate conditions. Copter Spinner still on dry tyres apparently. That's correct. Sure whether that is actually accurate. Copter Spinner is on intermediates. The game says he's on soft tyres. So F1 2017 still both says we're over on the AG. Visual glitches with incorrect tyres. Ultimate's run very deep in turn 8. Copter Spinner's going to take the position. Copter's going to take position 7. A mistake from Ultimate knocks him to position 8. Now going to be determined to try and get a position back from Copter Spinner. He had a poor first lap. I think he was down in laps by the end of the first lap. Look at the lag. Copter Spinner again with him, making a mistake right back. Pressure from Ultimate straight on him. Now the focused mind could have just pulled away after seeing Ultimate make a mistake. He was determined to try and pull away. But he's made a mistake in the final sector of the track. Ultimate is still dry on his backside. No DRS anymore, but the slipstream is still a thing as we have yellow flags in sector 3. That's Alison Senegal going off track. The Bensei's AI diving into the pits. Mr. Stib picks up another penalty as John drinking very wide on the exit of turn 2. But here we go, Copter Spinner and Ultimate still going at it. Slipstream is useful for Copter Spinner for Ultimate, but not useful enough. Copter Spinner maintains position 7. Haas and the Williams going at it. The only gap under 2 seconds currently on track. The yellow flag of Olsen Senegal is out of the race. He's given it up. Was down in last, had a lot of mistakes and spins that poor Alson. But he is out of the race. First official DNF as the Bensei left. Red Bull of somebody who's coming out of the pits there. That would have probably been Alson's AI, thinking about it. Ultimate looks like he's made a mistake. The gap was 0.4 of a second. It's now over a second. Ultimate's going to have a big job to try and pull away or try and catch up again. And it's too far away from the slipstream to have any effect as well. The mistake has cost Ultimate, costing his position, and then Oscar's out of the race. Whether he's just called it a day as well, or whether there was genuine contact there. Almel in 11th. Some distance behind Mr. Stim, the next car in front. Copter Spinner's catching up to the back of Drury though at the moment, so Copter Spinner showing some good pace in his intermediate conditions. That's a new feature that I like. I like that it tells you exactly how many laps they've been on their tyres for. That's something I wish we had on F1 2017. On the last section but he gained a couple of tenths on Ultimate. So that one battle that we had going on track seems to be dissipated by the sector. Interesting to see whether the conditions will get any worse or whether they'll improve towards the end of the session as well. They have no weatherman, and they have no information on the weather as well. Falcon and Benz maintaining a gap to 1 minute in Reg another 4 second behind. Keep an eye, let's just watch the race leader for a few laps just to see how he copes with the intermediate conditions. Really no traction as well by the traction input I saw through that corner. Looks like he's a no traction runner. Nice and cautious on the throttle through this corner as well. Big lock up though into turn 2. But again, very good on the throttle. He's showing us how it's done in these intermediate conditions. Already got a 3.8 second lead out front. Got the lead halfway around the first lap and hasn't really lost it since, apart from when he dived into the pits. As Copter Spinner gets his first penalty of the race. For exceeding track limits, I'll just see by the looks of it for turn 1 again. Surprising if it was. Just seeing the comments come up. I love that PS4 doesn't update YouTube comment live, so I don't really need that bar on the right hand side at all. So I can read through the comments we've had previously while there's nothing particularly going on in this race. We'll Say that, Benji almost loses it in turn 1. We've got Gronos Beer saying hello, Calmel says hello. Kildrive, my F2 teammate as well, saying hello. I'm going to call up Mania and Billy. And yeah, Robin, I agree. If it rains in F2, I might as well immediately retire as well. I've hardly done any running on the game whatsoever. I think I've done 3 or 4, like 5 sprint races in multiplayer and 1 career mode race. So that's all I've done. So I don't feel confident going into the race at 8 o'clock. Hello, Gawoon Rudo. Is that Stacker? Opta Spinner's catching up to the back of Drewy. Late braking into the hairpin, almost crashing to the back, and Drewy loses the back end on the exit of the corner out of fear, I think, more than anything. Opta Spinner's taken 6th place from him. Drewy made a mistake on the exit of that corner. Mr. Stim has been disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location. Not quite sure whether he was parked or whether he was just spun. Seems a bit weird. Need to get Mr. Stim's insight on what happened there, but that's extraordinary. The first time I've seen that in a league race before. Disqualifications for corner cutting and track extending countless times, but I've never seen one for being parked in a dangerous location, I don't know. Avoid spectating Drewy as much as possible as he's got the full revs glitch still in operation when I go on board with him. He's losing time to Opta Spinner. Get Big Snake at the tail end as well, coming out of the hairpin. Drewy starting to have some difficulties in these intermediate conditions as well. Mr. Stim says his pedals stopped working. Oh, okay. Good to see this game is still massively bug-free. I love it. You couldn't tell that was sarcasm. Benji picks up a penalty for track extending. Again, turn 1. Catching a lot of drivers out here is turn 1. He's kind of maintained the gap to Golden Falcon. It stayed at about 4.5 seconds for about 4 or 5 laps now. And Tim Veg is 5 seconds behind that. Number 4 India pair of Verstappen and Ectogenesis. Opta Spinner in 6th, some way behind the pair of Force Indias. Drewy in 7th, he's just run very wide out of turn 1. Ultimate in 8th, he's made a couple of mistakes. He was up in about 4th place at one point, he's now dropped down to 8th. Yatai in 9th. Calmel in 10th, and the last of the runners that's still going in this race, as Debense has disconnected. Oscar, Alson and Mr. Stim all out. Oh, okay, do you reckon it's something to do with maybe the lead on your pedals then that might have gone? Good job this happened in a pre-season race and not in an actual race. Good to get teething problems like that out of the way. Ultimate's catching up to Drewy as well, interestingly. Yeah, as Robin said, hopefully that doesn't spell the end of your pedals. Doesn't mean you have to buy some new ones. I don't know how expensive they can be. To the 11 viewers we have watching the stream, if you want to put in the chat who has impressed you the most so far in this race, feel free. I'll agree or disagree with some of your opinions, but I want to kind of know what you're getting just from this race alone, who you think is going to be a threat in F3 this season, and who you think might need to get a bit more race practice and experience in behind them. My personal opinion, Verstappen has impressed me, despite his very late lunge in lap 1, which cost him a lot of positions. But he's done well to recover from, I think it was P12 he was in at some point, up to position 4 and catching up on the podium positions as well. He's catching up to Tim Veg. Alternate is now within half a second as well of Drury for position 7. As Verstappen and Tim Veg both dive into the pits. Looks like it's time for full wets on these guys. Well, they're picking for a fresh set of inters. The rain is bucketing it down now, though. It might be time for full wets at some point in the coming laps, as it is absolutely pelting it down. Copter Spinner moves up into position 5 and separates the battling pair of Tim Veg and Verstappen, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3 for Yatai, who is off in the final sector. Verstappen not far behind the Williams and Copter Spinner. Tim Veg has dived into the pits for a set of wet tyres. Could that be the right call, or will it be the wrong call? It goes very deep into the hairpin. Too early to tell at the moment, but we'll see how much Copter Spinner and Verstappen catch up. Yeah, I agree, Steve. There have been some very questionable overtakes and moves so far in this race, but it's something that we need to address in pre-season with those drivers if we need to. Better to get drivers to learn early before the season starts than trying to do it midway through a season. As Venture picks up another penalty. Turn 1 again as Golden Falcons dive into the pits for another set of intermediates, so he's also opted for the intermediates. Interesting that Tim Veg is on the full wets and he's losing time to Copter Spinner and Verstappen. Was it too early for Tim Veg to dive onto the wet tyres? I think it might have been. Now we've got a battle for second as well going on, as well as this battle for fourth. We've got 3-car battle for fourth and 2-car battle for second. There we go. This is more like it. Lap 24, we're getting back into some cars close on track. Copter Spinner and Verstappen right up each other's backsides here. They come out of turn 3 and 4. Down the long straight to 5. Kink of 5. A hairpin of 6. Is Verstappen going to make the move? Yes, he is. Big lock up from the Force India driver. Gives him space on the outside, but it looks like he's got the position. Verstappen does have the position and takes position 5. Well done. Very good move, even though he had a massive lock up on the way. Not easy overtaken in these conditions as Copter's broken a little bit late and hit the back of Verstappen. Thankfully there's no damage and that won't affect him. There's no damage in his pre-season race. Copter Spinner on his 12-lap old intermediates and been overtaken by Verstappen on his fresh intermediates. Now it's Tim Veg Gaming in the eyes of Verstappen now as the next target. Tim Veg on the wet tyres doesn't seem to quite have the pace. So he's struggling a little bit on those wet tyres. Golden Falcon just behind Exogenesis as well. Exogenesis and Benji are one pit stop ahead of Golden Falcon. They've only pitted once, Golden Falcon pitted twice. As Copter Spinner has dived into the pits for wet tyres. Golden Falcon here coming side by side with Exogenesis coming into the hairpin into turn 6. Genesis does well and gives him space on the outside, but maybe gave him a bit too much space, maybe a little bit too conservative. Golden Falcon's got the move done and moves into second place. Tim Veg is now just 3 tenths of a second ahead of Verstappen, but has got a good, great exit out of the hairpin. He's gained like 3 tenths just on that exit alone. Could now be the time when the wet is starting to come in slow. It has been pelting it down with rain for a few laps now. Tim Veg with a slow entry though into turn 11. Turn 10 I think, I believe. sticking onto his backside. Exogenesis has lost time to Falcon quite quickly. Didn't feel like that was the case in qualifying, Jay, but it was only at the end of the session when the rain started to get a bit lighter that the intermediates were faster tyre to be on qualifying. Tim Veg loses it on the exit of 4. Verstappen swipes through and takes 4. Tim Veg with a mistake on the wet tyres. He doesn't have enough grip, enough inertia coming into those rear tyres, and he's just lost the back end and lost 4th place. Almost hit the back of Verstappen though into the braking zone before turn 6. And Copter Spinner look like they're going to renew their battle from just before the last round of pit stops. Copter Spinner on wets, Ultimate on intermediates. It's really good test to see which is the master compounded tyre. I also noticed that Ultimate went into neutral gear for the hairpin. Second now on track as Tim Veg has lost a little bit of time to Verstappen. Not much, but lost about a second. Optus is getting a surprisingly good amount of grip coming through this final sector, which is where you would expect the compound is the grippier compound to come into his own. Optus will be doing well to pull away there through that section of the track. Maybe the wets are starting to get quicker. As Ultimate has made a mistake on the exit of turn 1. The A-Tie has picked up a 5-second stop go for exceeding track limits. See how that's all sort of been on this one. Must have spun and then just taken a short route across the track to get back on. I'll put under pressure from Calmel. There is another round of pit stops. Ultimate has cost him 3 seconds almost when Copter Spinner. So that's that battle over as well. Benji has dived into the pits to fit a fresh set of wet tyres and taken to the end of the race on 28. Puts Golden Falcon back in the lead of the race again for about the 4th time. Pretty much led the race from start to finish, minus hitting an extra time compared to some of the other riders. Exogenesis is in 2nd. He's been on those intermediate tyres since lap 14. Benji on his fresh set of wets has rejoined in 3rd, ahead of Verstappen. Tim Veg down in 5th. Struggling a bit for traction into turn 2 and 3. Really in 6th. Copter Spinner in 7th. Ultimate in 8th. Calmel in 9th. And then the disconnected the Bense down in 11th as the A-Tie has expired from the session. It'll be interesting to see whether Exogenesis stays out for the remainder of the race or not. Whether it's worth him risking those intermediates. If the wets are genuinely faster at this point in the race, those intermediates are going to be very worn by the end as well. He's been on them for 14 laps. He's about to start his 15th lap on the tyres. That's like 16th lap on the tyres, actually. Keep an eye on the gap between himself and Benji and see whether Benji catches him up. So if Benji's catching him up, then it might be a big risk that Exogenesis is putting in. Down to 3.1 towards 3.5. 2.8 in sector 1. 2 tenths in that one sector alone. Maybe he's caught up. Even closing in down the straight. looks at the hairpin as we have a yellow flag in sector 2. Who is it that's off? It's Calmel just letting cars through. I thought it was somebody off track. It's just Calmel allowing Tim Veg to lap him. Yeah, Benji's way faster on those wet tyres than Exogenesis on the intermediates. And he's a lot faster than Golden Falcon as well. He could be a candidate for the race win if he keeps up on these tyres. Benji's now got the gap to 1.8 seconds. I know he picked up a few penalties here and there, but he seems so much faster on these wet tyres. These wet tyres seem like they're really coming to their own now. From like 29 to 34 as we have a yellow flag in sector 3. See who that was for. Might have been Calmel again, letting somebody lap him. Benji now got the gap for just a second. He's closed in by, what, 1.7 seconds in that last lap. So Benji's flying at the moment. I would say he's the fastest car on track at the moment on those wet tyres. Falcon's pulling away a bit from Exogenesis as well. Help how worn Exogenesis' tyres are. 10th of a second now between Benji and Exogenesis for position 2. But now, of course, we're in the rain and dirty air, which will probably affect Benji and make it a bit difficult for him to close off and pass, and is allowing Golden Falcon to pull away out front. Could make his gap unassailable if Benji doesn't pass Exogenesis soon. Wide a bit to turn 1, but he did get a lot of speed through the corner. Has a look on the inside, but thinks better of it. Going to save it for the hairpin. He's going to need a great exit. He gets a great exit out of turn 3 and 4. He's now right in the slipstream of Exogenesis, coming down the straight, down through turn 5. Into turn 6, they're side by side. Exogenesis currently just has his nose in front, but Benji has the inside line. They're still side by side on the exit. Who's going to get the better traction? Benji gets the better traction and holds on and gets position 2. Great move from the two of them as Drewy is off in turn 2 and 3. Copter Spinner takes 6th position. Ultimate is now going to put Benji under pressure after that mistake. So Benji, put Drewy under pressure, sorry, not Benji. Benji's in 2nd. Yeah, there we go. Drewy's off again. I think he's just tried to put himself in the wall, but he doesn't realise that there is no damage in this race. So Drewy's out of the session. Don't know why he could have just kept going, because he only had 4 laps to go. That's promoted Ultimate to 7th place and will promote Calmel into 8th as the last runner. Exogenesis hasn't lost as much as I expected over that last lap. Just under a second lost. Golden Falcon looks like he's still put away from Benji even. Golden Falcon on the intermediates is looking very, very quick. Looks like he could be one of the people to beat in F3 this season. Showed he had pace on F1 2017 towards the end of last season as well. Won a race in F3 last season. I'm just looking at the previous season. He won in Monza last season, Golden Falcon. Yeah, he's got 8 seconds now to Exogenesis. Benji must have made a mistake. I missed it. Too busy looking at how other people are doing at other times. I always miss the interesting stuff. Benji is off and into 4th. Verstappen, the pole sitter, was 12th by the end of lap 1. now up into third and only 2 seconds behind his teammate. Golden Falcon at 9 seconds ahead and only 2 laps to go. It looks like the win is pretty much guaranteed to be in the bag for him now. He's going to get bragging rights in Force India with the Exogenesis. Will it be Verstappen? Will Benji be able to come back and take the podium after his mistake? Tim Veg has had quite a quiet race since the start after he took the lead in turn 1. He had a spin somewhere as well, and then since then he's had a very quiet race, been on his own throughout a lot of it. So I bet he'll be relieved when the race finishes. It'll probably be quite a boring one here. Though on Verstappen for to make a difference. Golden Falcon wants to start his final lap of the race, the final lap of the race. Ferrari's anchoring up both sides of the field at the moment. Golden Falcon will lead the Bense, who is disconnected in 10th, but Ferrari at the back. Quite a solid drive for Golden Falcon, not really had too many battles on track to contend with. Got involved in the battle at the start, then took the lead and never really looked back since. Stayed on the long intermediates, which again look like they're the better choice of tyre, as the rain has calmed down a bit. Towards the end, and Benji isn't catching up that much on Verstappen. Looks like this should be the running order apart from the penalties. It's the only thing left to take into consideration of the penalties. Of course, turn 1 has proved an absolute menace for pretty much everybody in this race. Coming through the stadium section now, the 180 left. 4 corners to go for Golden Falcon. He does get a massive lag spike though as he comes out of that corner. Through the final corner, and Golden Falcon going to cross it in the first pre-season race of the ERL F3. Pretty confident drive, pretty comfortable drive for him in the end. Well done, Golden Falcon. Exogenesis is going to cross the line in second ahead of his teammate, the pole sitter Verstappen. But Verstappen will be very pleased with the way he's running. I know he's got up to second. Exogenesis penalties cost him second place, so he will finish in third. Verstappen from pole dropped from last, pretty much last at the end of the first lap, finishes in second. Fantastic recovery drive from him. Benji takes fourth, could have been second for Benji if not for a mistake late on. Tim Veg in fifth, he's probably had the most boring race of his lifetime after the first lap. Got to spin across the line and finish in sixth position. Ultimate using a lot of curve on the exit of the final corner, crosses the line in 7th, and that is the end of the field as Calmel finished in 8th, a lap down. It's quite an interesting race. We had a period in the middle, as you do in a lot of races, where there's not really too much happening, but the start was fantastic. The first few laps there was battles everywhere, there was contact, there was drama, and then towards the end as well with the differing strategies, people on intermediates, people on wets. Something for everybody there, because there were strategic elements, there were battles, there was aggressive driving as well, which I'm all for aggressive driving so long as it's clean at the end of the day. There we go, the Ferrari driver of Golden Falcon, spraying the champagne with the Force India pair of Verstappen, and I've forgotten the other one already. Exogenesis, that's the one. Exogenesis only had the one penalty, but his gap to Verstappen was only 1.7 seconds, so it cost him his second place. So there we go, there are the standings. De Bense disconnected from the race, so his lap times don't really count. Drewy, Yatai, Oscar, Alson and Mr. Stim all not finishing. Mr. Stim getting disqualified after his pedals bust on him. But yeah, there we go. That's the end of the F3 pre-season race around Germany. Let us know what you think in the comments. And the F2 evaluation race will be on this very channel in a roughly 40 minutes time. We will see you for that.